Hi everyone, welcome back. Like I said before, Pizza Premier League, winner of the cup or winner of the league wins a free pizza via yours truly. Please feel free to join in the link down below. So welcome back to Optimize FPL. We're going to be looking at the 5 players that you should be avoiding that are popular picks. They're most of them are about like 10 to 15 to 20% owned, way too high. The fact that 1/10 of you are still owning some of these players um, means you probably should get rid of them. Starting off at number one with I think about like 20% ownership is Coutinho, 7 million. He's gonna start almost every single game. My head's blocking it, but the predicted points for game week 1 to 6 is about 20.1 or 20.9 or 21 roughly. So not too bad for 6 game weeks. That averages out to about like 3 or 4 points a game week. So not too bad considering that his fixtures get really hard towards the game week 5, 6 range. It makes a lot of sense that it's pretty high because but yeah, Coutinho has great fixtures to start the season off. Like game weeks 1 to 4 is not bad, but I think that he's someone that definitely needs to not be in your guys' team. I just think that his price point's a little bit odd at 7 million. There's not a lot of other 7 million players you really want in your team. You want those 8 million pound players in the midfield, so it's gonna be hard to rotate him out once his fixtures do get bad. Coutinho, he started off pretty strong, but he really tailed off towards the end of last season. So I'm not sure that I love him as a pick. So my personal opinion is to get him out of your teams. Up next, and one that really doesn't make any sense to me, is Bruno G at 6 million from Newcastle. I get that he's a really good player, and like his predicted points are not too bad at 16.6 million or 16.6 points per 6 game weeks. It's like not the worst that I've seen. It's not too bad, but at 6 million, you can get somebody much better like Martinelli or even like Neto, Bailey. All these players are even cheaper than Bruno Guimaraes. And they're gonna get probably more points than him. I don't understand. I don't understand the hype. Like he did really well for Newcastle when he came in, but he's a central mid that doesn't really attack too much. Like he does have some attacking prowess. Don't get me wrong, but he's not like a central attacking mid. He's still a CM. He's gonna be going back and forth, starting in like a more defensive position and then moving forward from there. Like he's not going to be counter-attacking with Newcastle. I don't fully understand it. I don't think he's a player that I would personally bring into my team, and I wouldn't recommend him bringing into yours as well. So I think Sam Greenwood is an obvious one that I think everybody understands is not going to be a great player. He's 4.5 million forward. He's not going to do a lot. He's only got a 50% chance of starting, which realistically is very high for him. He's not going to get that many starts. As we see behind me, he has like an eight expected points for the first 6 game weeks. The reason that I don't want him in your guys' teams is because he is too highly owned. He's at like 30% ownership or something like that. I think roughly 25%, and he's only 4.5 million. So the second he doesn't play a game, it's going to be really bad for us. And the reason it's going to be bad for us, if anybody does own him, is because that his price will drop rapidly because of the fact that he's 4.5 million, and people want players that play. So all the casual players who bring him in as an easy, cheap bench option are going to see that he doesn't get that many points, and they're going to go, okay, well, during next week, I'm going to take him out and bring someone else in. That's roughly the same price, and it's going to drop him in value. And everyone who wants him third on their bench and doesn't want to move him is going to lose value for their wild cards later on in the season. So let's say like in game week 8 time, Greenwood goes down to 4.4. You've now lost 0.1 million because I, who have say Archer still at 4.5 million, can drop Archer to Greenwood to 4.4 million, get that 0.1 extra, and maybe get someone else in that could help me out, or just even bank the 0.1 million for a third bench option. Why not? It's extra value for your team. So Sam Greenwood is not someone that I'd recommend for your guys' team. Next up is Bernardo Silva. I don't fully understand why he is so highly owned. I think he's about like 15% ownership or 10% ownership, more than any other Man City midfielder, and I don't understand it at all. Well, like where is he going to play? Is he going to play beside KDB? Is he going to play on the right instead of Mahrez? I feel like that's unlikely. Is he going to play on the left? You've got Grealish and Foden there already, so there's way too much competition there. In the midfield, like you still have Gundogan, you still have like Rodri to fit in. You have Calvin Phillips coming in now. I just don't know where Silva fits in on this team for Man City. And at 7 million, I just don't fully understand why you'd get him instead of someone like an 8 million Mahrez or even like a 7 million Grealish. I think is a better chance of starting than Bernardo Silva, and potentially has a better attacking prowess than he does. So overall, I think Bilva is not a great player to pick. I would recommend sticking away from him. And last up on my list is Trippier. His expected points are really low, surprisingly. It's only like 14.6, which is really low for Trippier. You probably most of the expected data that I have is putting him at around the 20 expected points, but there's one that expects him to only get like 10 points. That's really bringing the average down. But I still think that Trippier in the first 6 game weeks is not someone you really want to get unless you're going to rotate him. I guess you could rotate him with someone like Nico Williams or Andres Pereira. But I just don't think that's worth it. Like 5 million, you can get someone like Gabriel or even Kyle Walker, and you don't have to rotate them. They just are. They're going to play most games, and the games they aren't going to play, your bench will come in for them anyways. So I don't really love the idea of Trippier just because Newcastle's fixtures are really difficult. Game week 3 and 5 are Liverpool and Manchester City, which is a really hard fixture, and I would not recommend keeping defenders against those two teams. Anyways, that's it for me. It was just a little quick one just to see who are some highly owned players that I don't really like, and I think that you guys can do better than. I hope everyone enjoyed. Please feel free to leave some comments about players you think that that people should be avoiding and are absolutely loving. And if there's anybody on this list you disagree with, please let me know in the comments down below with some justification. I'd love to hear it. Thanks so much. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Cheers.